Alright guys, here's the next one. What you'll need is one of these things. This one's made by Cooking Concepts. It's a splatter screen for cooking, 11-inch diameter, eliminate grease splatter. You use it, you put it on top of your pans when you make like bacon or sausage or something like that, so it don't splatter all over and get your stove all dirty. Well, this makes excellent chain link fencing. And this one I got at the dollar store. It's a pretty big sized one. I'll get quite a bit of use out of it. And it cost me $1. $1. That's all it cost me. So then what I'll do is, I hadn't opened it yet because I wanted to show you guys the package. So what you do is then, and open it up. And here we go. Got a bunch of screening there. Alright. So then, open that up. Now I'd save these parts. I just seen one that for Total War, he's making an awesome piece of scenery, and he said he's looking for that mushroom type command array or shield generator or whatever. Well, some like handles like this look a lot like it. You know, this one's not actually that bad. This one kind of got mushroom shape. So save these pieces if you want. You know, you can probably make something out of this or put this to use. Even this this washer here is bendable, so you might be able to put it to use. So I'm gonna keep all this one on this one. All right, so toss that aside. Now we gotta pull this thing apart. Now some of these are pretty easy, and you can kind of just like pull them out, and they'll come out. And some of them are more difficult. The cheaper they are, the more likely that you can easily pull them out. So, nice dollar one like this. This should pull out pretty easy. And it's off. Alright. That wasn't too difficult, huh? Alright. So now, got a nice big chunk of chain link fencing. So now we can take it and pretty much I can cut it up to whatever I want or store it for later. I'd recommend saving this too. If some of them are nice and thin and really bendable, like if they're made of metal, and you can actually use them for the tops of your fence. This one here looks like it's rolled inside itself there. So I'm probably just gonna toss this one. I'm not sure yet, but this would make, you could use this, chop it up, and use it for like piping on the side of a building. I'm sure you could bend this flat if you cut it up. So. Might want to save it, so set that to the side there. Alright, so now that you got this, next thing you're going to need is the scissors, so I'm going to give it a shot here. Yep, sure enough. Alright, so this one I can cut with scissors, so that's nice. It makes it a lot simpler. So I just take here and try to follow a line here. If you think about it, if you do it about the same height as a miniature, you're going to be looking at like 6 foot fence, which is plenty high enough. Over here, other side, that side flat. Alright, so there we go. Pretty much got a rectangle of fencing here. I'm going to save this. Now, save your scraps and stuff, because you can, push this into the ground, have it sticking up and stuff, and it'll look like scrap fencing, that's got broken up and stuck in the ground. You can use it for basing and stuff. Alright, next thing you need, like you've seen me use before, good old floral wire. This stuff here is 20 gauge, which seems to work really good for the posting on it. I like it for the posting, so I'm just going to take and push one up. Snips close by. I'm going to take close to the end here. Don't go right to the end, because you're going to want to wrap it around, and this stuff should be, let's see, this might actually be too closely woven. Nope, here we go. Alright, so I'm going to push it up, and don't go right to the bottom one either, because otherwise it'll pull out on you. So go, a couple slots up. Alright, so I'm going right there, and then I'm going to come up and go back through, just like knitting or cross stitching, whatever that one thing is that they do. I think it's cross stitching. Alright, so back through there. Alright, now I've got it through there like that. I'm going to go up and above a little bit like that, and take that and just kind of crimp it around for right now. Just like that. And just crimp it around this piece of floral wire here. Now at the top it might be a little weird. Careful about poking yourself. Probably it's kind of unavoidable, but it's not too bad. Just deal with it. just gotta deal with it. Alright, so now once I got that to there, I can just take and, you know, make sure to leave enough to stick into the foam or whatever you're doing, so about an inch or so, take and snip it off. Alright, now once I got that, now if I was doing this for an actual piece of scenery, I would probably, you know, measure certain intervals and do it all, like say 3 inches, 3 inches, 3 inches, 3 inches, 3 inches, 3 inches, you know, just so it's nice and even. But since I'm not, I'm just gonna wing it here. So, oh, went up one too many. You know, try to keep it similar too. The more consistent it looks, the more realistic it's gonna look. Unless you're gonna bust it up and, you know, make it look all war torn anyways, then, you know, it don't really matter. But too close together will make this a lot harder to do if you have your posts too close together. Alright, can't get this one through here. Oh, I'm going to start pulling it out if I do that. Alright, there we go. Alright, and back through. And about the same distance up as the other ones. And cut it off an inch from the bottom. Oh, don't need scissors yet. So cut it off about an inch. There we go. Try to keep it nice and straight. There. Alright, and since this is going to be an end piece here, I'm going to take and cut right up here, just 2 sections down from the post, and do the same thing I did on the other one and kind of wrap it around here. Crimp it onto the metal post that we're using. Alright, so that's crimped, just like that. Alright, there we go. Okay, now, there we go. I got a piece of scrap foam here. Just a little piece of scrap foam, sorry, mispronunciating. And I'm just going to take and, you know, use something to poke holes to give it a guideline. One's there, one's there, one's there. Tip it up and push down in. And try to keep these all even. Ouch, that was a good poking. Like I said, be careful with this, especially if you're younger. Poke yourself. You will poke yourself. It's kind of unavoidable, but it's worth it. You get nice chain link fencing, so, or metal fencing, mesh fencing, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so there you go. That's the basic of it. And then what you need to take next is this thinner floral wire. I've got 2 kinds here. This is 30 gauge, and this one here is 26 gauge. So 30 gauge is the thinnest one, so I'm going to use that actually. And what I'll do here is, or what you want to do here is just take and, you know, snip off a little inch-long chunk, something like that, and probably do a couple of them here, just to give you a demonstration. So I snip those off, got my little piece of 30 gauge floral wire, and take and bend it into a U shape, something like that. And then I take it on the post. Now you'd want to do this on all the posts. Now you don't have to do this. I do this pretty much just for looks, just to make it look a little more realistic. But you could definitely get away without it. It's not structurally needed or anything. But then, you know, alright, so I weaved it through, one on each side of the post there, and then I'm just going to push it in, and once it's in there, on the back here, I take and pretty much just pretend it's a twisty tie, like that, and, oh, sorry, it's hard to kind of do here, it's a tedious thing, and then just take and twist it up so it's pretty nice and snug to it. And then once you got it nice and snug, you know, snip it up kind of close, you know, make sure that you have it twisted enough that it's, you know, you're not gonna, don't snip it where you're gonna make it come undone. So alright, that's pretty good. get semi-close, and snip. And there we go. That one's not too bad at all. Alright, and there you go. I know that's kind of hard to see, but there, it's stuck on there. And you could even use a little bigger one if you wanted it to be more seen. I might actually have used, you should have used a little bigger one since this mesh is so thin. But that's okay, this is for demonstration. So alright, make sure, try to keep these all top ones even. Now for the top part here, there's a couple things you can do. Like I said before, if this part's nice and thin and malleable, I would use this. Take and flatten out an end, and then pretty much you just set it, you just set it on top, and it'll frame in the top of the fence really nice. Otherwise, the tip that I had given before about cutting up pop cans, you can take a piece of this, cut a thin strip, nice and thin strip, not too thin that you can't use it, but then take it, put it over the top, and bend it over it, just kind of, so if this was the fence, you take it and just wrap it around it, just kind of give it a nice smooth top part then. So it looks really nice like that too. Anything, pretty much any way you wanted to top it. Another thing you can use is coffee straws. If you take a coffee straw, cut a slit in it in the one side of the coffee straw, a lot of the time you can fit it over it, just kind of pull it over, fit it over it, and then paint that up, and that'll look real nice too. So what I do then after I get the top part, another thing you could use, the quick tip thing I did about making razor wire. If you took some razor wire and lay it over the top of or lay it on the top of this, that looks really good as well. And then you can just after you get it all done, take a black spray paint, or black through your airbrush if you got one, and just do the whole thing, spray the whole thing in black, and then dry brush some silvers over it, and you'll have a nice chain link fence. So alright guys, that's it for this one. Hope this one was helpful for you. Remember, there's lots more uses for this, so keep it in mind. You can use it for windows, for doing like reinforced windows. If it's nice and thin like this, put a piece of clear plastic on both sides of it. You frame it in a window, and it'll look like that reinforced windows, and that seems to work really nice. So there's other uses for it too, so just keep them in mind. This stuff's useful. Keep an eye out for those grease or splatter protectors, and just buy the cheap ones. I've seen them at most every dollar store I've ever went to. So, and they're for $1 you can't beat that. That's cheap terrain. So alright guys, that's it for this one.